Hey, good morning everybody. Brian here. Truck camping in Colorado at the moment, and the temperatures are freaking awesome. It's March 18th and it's about 65 degrees at 10:30 a.m., which is incredible. So it's supposed to get up to about 70 today, and I plan to take full advantage of this nice weather. But before I pack up my camp kitchen, I just got done cooking some breakfast, and I wanted to show you guys what I do to prepare meals on the road, because there's a couple different ways you can cook. I've tried a bunch of different systems. I've tried like 3 different type of cooking systems, and this is the one that I find is the most effective for preparing really good meals and having a few different options depending on what your circumstances are while you're on the road. So if you're wanting to just stop off real quick and make like a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, or maybe boil up some water for some oatmeal, I don't think it's necessary to pull out your big stove. You can carry a backpacking stove with you, and what I use is the MSR Pocket Rocket. It comes in this little container. It's really small, and then you have these canisters, these fuel canisters, which act as the base of the stove, which you screw it into. So I'll show you how this sets up real quick. You just put it down, attach this to the top, pull out the little prongs, and you're rocking. You got yourself a little stove setting there. Now, if you have a single-walled metal cup, and you got to make sure it's single-walled and not double-walled and insulated. So a single-walled metal cup, you can put that on there and put some water in there, boil it up real quick. Do whatever you want. You can heat up some soup. It's the number of different options you can do. But that's a nice, quick way to heat up some water or make some tea, whatever it may be. If you're wanting to make a full-on meal, though, then that's where I recommend having a larger stove. And what I use is the Coleman Triton 2-burner stove, and that's what this is right here. It's a full-size stove, runs off of 1 gallon propane. Like, you can get those little Coleman bottles at the Ace Hardware store or wherever. But it runs off the 1 gallon or 1 pound propane bottle, and it runs the stove for a long time. Now, I've got a couple different things that I use with this stove. I'll show you my mess kit here. By the way, check this out. This is the old MSR Alpine Deluxe cook set. I got this when I was a Boy Scout, so it's about 30 years old. It's got the old MSR logo on it and everything. So, but it still works great, and I use it when I'm making meals. So you've got yourself your skillet, which I use this quite often, and then your kettle. This thing's great. I've used this, I don't know how, I've used it for years and years and years, and it just keeps on trucking. I just clean it up pretty good every once in a while. And check this out on the back here. You can see the old MSR logo. It says it was made in Thailand. I don't know if they still make them in Thailand or not, but that's the old MSR logo. Kind of cool. And then it says Mountain Safety Research on the top of the kettle thing. I like stuff like that. Anyway, so that's pretty much my cooking setup right there. I'll either heat up some water and make coffee while I'm making eggs and breakfast or whatever. Now, if you need like a deep pan or saucepan or whatever, you can throw that on there in lieu of this, and you can heat up like chili or cook stuff, whatever you want to do. You can put stuff in there and simmer it. I use this as a little cover for it. And then what this is this is my grandfather on my mom's side of the family, Grandpa Bowers. This is his cup when he was a child, or his plate when he was a child. So I thought this was really neat. My grandfather passed away about 15 years ago, and he was a really awesome guy. So it's really cool that I get to carry this with me at all time and eat off it when it was his plate when he was a child. But so the 2-burner cook set's great for deluxe meals. Like I said, the one burner is good just for heating up some water or making coffee or tea. And then the absolute must, now this is a must that you must have while you're camping, is you got to have a way to make coffee. I don't know how people go without that. It's like, I'll meet up people that are like, oh yeah, I'll go into town and get a cup of coffee every once in a while. I do coffee every day, like 2 cups in the morning and usually 1 cup after lunch just to keep me going. But what I use the Aeropress. It's just a hand press coffee thing. You've got a little hand grinder here. You measure out your beans, throw them in there, grind them up. You have a little deal here to put in a paper filter. Screw that into the bottom, put your beans in there, boil up your water, put it over a cup, throw your beans in, and then you can press it down after the allotted time is done with your coffee brewing. So anyway, that's what I use. One other thing I wanted to mention is cleaning up your dishes. I use this, it's called the Sea to Summit Camp Kitchen, or the kitchen sink. And it's a collapsible sink, and it opens up, and it's about 10 liters, and so it's plenty of volume in here. You can throw your water in here, and if you guys recall from my previous hygiene thing, I keep this Camp Suds soapy water available. I just shake it up and it becomes soapy. Shoot some water in there, throw in some hot water on top of it that maybe you've been heating up over the campfire, over your stove. And then you can put your dishes in there and clean all your dishes at once, and then just rinse them off as you're pulling them out. You can rinse them off with some clean water, get all the soapy residue off of it. And then you do that, and hang your bag up to let it dry out after you dump your water in a 6 to 8 foot or 6 to 8 inch hole, and you're good to go. So anyway, that's what I use. Lastly, I just keep my water here handy, and then my cooler. That way I can get water if I need to real fast, or if I need to quick grab some items out of my cooler that I'm cooking. But everything works real well. It's really efficient. What I do is I'll break down everything and just store it right underneath my platform bed here. So if I do want to get out and cook a big meal for lunch or even for dinner, but if I'm traveling and still in my vehicle and haven't set up camp yet, then I can use my tailgate as my table, and then just pull out my stove, prepare what I need to, get everything squared away, tuck it back under, and then keep trucking. So that's what I use. Works great, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video.